For a short period of time, this will be considered my most controversial video I have ever made. Uh, so I have already played and beaten Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I don't want to do this like a regular review where you would have gameplay footage and you have pictures on screen. This is something I fought with really hard, and I thought about really hard before I recorded it. But there's so many nuances to the situation we face with Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom coming out so early. It's so important and it's so popular, and so many people are looking into it. I saw an opportunity when the leak occurred to play the game early, and since I already pre-ordered the game anyways and was going to begin playing it on the Switch, I kind of figured as a content creator, there's something here. There's a story to tell, and I get to make a review for a game before it comes out, right? That's kind of insane. Anyways, so I've already beaten it, right? It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's such a great complementary piece to Breath of the Wild, and how it uses previous music and reworks them to be so thoughtful in these environments that they slightly changed and modified the landscape just to make it feel more claustrophobic, and making the castle the centerpiece. Like there's this bastion of like hope and safety when you're in the center and you're near the castle. Very good. And the upheaval, the entire process was really cool, but some of the puzzles got really fun. I love the 4D aspect of this game and the ability to go through the floor and stuff. Again, it's easy enough, but it's satisfying enough. There's something about that tactility when you're solving these puzzles in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom that are just so good. They just are so good. I I I want to come back to like being conflicted about this, right? Obviously, this is a structured video. This is something I've rehearsed. I've spoken into this camera the exact same thoughts and nuances before. I've changed my cadence, I've changed my excitement and my pitches and levels, but there's no way to really get across to everybody um, when you do something wrong. Like emulation is commonly regarded as wrong, and in this situation, I went against even my own statings. I downloaded something that wasn't even out yet. And the whole entire reason why was this fantastical idea to do a philosophical conundrum video that I've had. And it's disguised in a way where I'm reviewing a franchise that I absolutely love. It's an odd feeling because I've spent so much money on Nintendo merchandise over the years, and yet I still feel guilty for choosing to do what it was essentially piracy. It's not, but essentially for the first time. You know what I mean? Like I mean, everybody's downloaded games off the internet. Everybody's downloaded old games that they might have owned in the past. They'll get a pirated copy. Everybody's done that, and it just feels so gross. I really liked in Tears of the Kingdom when you start jumping off of platforms. The new way that they handle diving, it feels really good. It doesn't feel like Ocarina of Time, you're just stuck in that like tube, but there's a lot of like nuance in how you control yourself in the air. And when you're combining certain items to like float along things, and you get a lot of like those little Wind Waker vibes, like those little um when you find out that you can hook around the thing to get up to Deku Tree, and you can use the string, and if you lower, you can find the secret cave in the waterfall. It brings back a lot of those special memories for me. I think Tears of the Kingdom at its core really knows what the essence of a Zelda game wanted to be, not is. Obviously, a lot of older Zelda games can't do all of those little nuances and physics and all these really beautiful effects while you're flying around in the sky. I mean, honestly, if anything, it's probably one of the best games on the Switch, just like in appearance, mechanics, physics, how much it's rendering. I mean, all the little animations, and now with all the extra things that you can do for stealth, with all the new enemies. New enemies. There is new enemies, but we're not getting into that. They're hard. They're really hard. I will say that. Like, I walk up to a Lionel now and I'm like, what a bitch, you're about to get slapped. And this game's harder. Like Tears of the Kingdom was harder. Finding the shrines was a lot harder. Um finding yeah, because there's like no sensor. You don't, well, there might be, but I never turned it on if it is there. But is it wrong to produce this video? Like artistically, which is how I perceive this is a piece of art that defies like what should be happening. Like this isn't how a video is made. You know what I mean? Yeah, nobody's gonna make a video before. I mean, they have. IGN has. There's a lot of content already out by IGN on Tears of the Kingdom. A lot of other content creators have already shown off a lot. There's all the new enemies already leaked. Like everything about this game is already blown wide open. Yet I still don't want to put anything out there visually of Tears of the Kingdom, right? Because I just feel like I'm doing a disservice to everybody out there. And like I already did something wrong in the intention of producing something like this. Like I already knew the challenge that this video was going to be. How do I artistically represent the emotional experience of what I have an opportunity to do, right? It it's odd because everybody already knows everything. Like if you want to play this game, you've already played it. It's just how it was for this game, and that was crazy to me. Like there was like a 2-week window where it was available. That's crazy. So is this fine? Even if I take the extra steps to not show video and pictures, is it still fine? It was cool to see the dragons. I really like that they were in the game again. I remember when I was playing Breath of the Wild, you like to like paraglide toward them and they would shoot the lightning at you, and that was super cool. And this one, they do a little bit more, but it's super cool. They're a lot more intimidating in this one. I feel like the art direction went really hard into like smaller details. Breath of the Wild was a lot more like cartoony in a way. Like it was straight out of like Toon Link era, but you were adult Toon Link. It was very odd at first. I still to this day think that, and especially now experiencing Tears of the Kingdom, this is a divergent timeline. Like all the other timelines are like these remnant memories. Some of them may be true, some of them may not be true. But what we know to be true is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and we're like kind of saying Ocarina of Time happened, can you tell? And then Wind Waker happened, can you tell? And then here's Twilight Princess. And then in between, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you see a massive change in geography. There's this absolutely insane change in the geography. I don't even think I know where the Great Plateau is in Tears of the Kingdom. I have no idea. Like I looked. Is it even in the game? I have no idea, because I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the Shrine of Resurrection. That'd be cool." But man, like, it was cool. Anyways, if you guys want to see that playthrough and you guys want to see some of the recordings from that, I'm not releasing them before the game is out. Obviously, this is out before the game is out. Um, More as a comical and philosophical piece as well as an artistic piece. This did take a lot of time to do in one shoot as I intended. Um, you can tell I've been writing and working and struggling to make this video for. It is 1 in the morning for, what's that, 36 hours? Yeah. That was a lot of fun though. Hey, if you're not playing Tears of the Kingdom, like, there are some, like, negative things that I'm sure you wanna know. It is exactly like Breath of the Wild. In every single aspect, the game plays and feels like Breath of the Wild. That is both a positive, in my opinion, and a negative. I do really like the new runes. The runes are really cool, but they're not as useful as you think, and that kinda detracts. Like, I'm actually anticipating hacks to make those work better. Um they're just not as good as you think, and finding the little controls so you can steer and stuff is, like, a huge pain in the ass, and I don't even think I found where they come from, like, the capsules that they come from. No idea, I have not found them, but a lot of the time, I just found myself looking for the easiest way out of every single puzzle, and a lot of this game can just be absolutely cheesed. A lot of, like, little nuances happen. You have the ability where you can, like, jump through the floor, and, for a while, I was just looking for, like, door frames so I can, like, line it up and get through the door frame, and it would, like, break out of the map all the time. So, play around with that. That was pretty cool. It was mainly in, like, shrines. You can find, like, little nooks, and you can kinda, like, glitch it so that way Link gets kinda pushed in the floor by, like, side hopping and crouching into the hole as you activate your ability, and it'll, like, put the green dot, and if you hit B fast enough, you'll fly through the floor and, get out of the map. So, I think a lot of people are gonna be playing around with that. Might be frame perfect, I don't know. I was playing a majority of this game at 30 FPS. I had a lot of texture issues. Like, I know, like, I did the whole acting thing in the beginning, but in, like, reality, this game, on PC was absolute nightmare. I don't even really consider this, like, an actual playthrough. It crashed almost every 30 minutes. It had a memory issue where, like, every few autosaves, it would just crash, which was really annoying, and I was, like, saving to try to mitigate it, and then it had just had a swell of, save files, and it was always a pain to, like, go back because you could get, like, stuck in a well, and if you don't have any sticky potions, you're just literally stuck there. You have to teleport out. I can't even tell you how many times I did that. But luckily, one of the Zonai devices is, like, the pot, so you can make those on the go if you had to, and they give you um those lizards that, give you stick. But, like, they'll also throw enemies down there, so you're fighting in this well, and then they have the sticky lizards that you need, and then you're fighting, and they leave, and then you can't get any, and you're just stuck, and it's like, fuck. There's just a lot of, like, really dumb moments where you're just like, "Oh my god." Like, they are so ambitious and trying to create something that's super creative, right? And sometimes it's really good. And in other times, it's really bad. I think this game is better than Breath of the Wild for sure. The combat's better, the damage system's a lot better. It's less or more forgiving, which semi okay with. Like, I like there to be, like, a consequence to my death. I don't like when I can just, oh, I'm just gonna slam my head against these three black boboculins and just die. over and over and over, and like I know I can turn around and run away, but I won't. That's the problem, and I will die and die and die, and because I'm lacking the challenge from anywhere else. That happened a lot with Tears of the Kingdom. Um, you run and you get some like blue bokoblins, and then you figure out what the best fusion combination is in early game, so that way you can have a lot of damage really early. Um, I don't know. Once you figure it out, it's like cooking. What's the best meal? And it's always simmered fruit. Like that's like the joke, simmered fruit. Like who's ever had simmered fruit? I don't know, but it's number one thing Link eats is simmered fruit. Oh, and kebabs. Simmered fruit and kebabs. But there's more like I, what I really like. Obviously, I'm stoned. That was a part of the bit as well. You guys haven't figured that out. It's in the title. That was a part of the artistic intent. Like it's so difficult to explain artistic intent, and when you do a review, it's almost like you're expected to somehow review somebody's artistic intent. But who's to say that you fully understand? Of course, you're. It's an opinion, and that's completely valid. But like what if we look back on like something like Atomic Heart, and we're just like, mm, that was actually super artistic and actually pretty good. Like, because when I played through Atomic Heart, I thought it was pretty good. There are some spots where I was like, but that's every game. Like every game has like that padding moment where you're just like, ugh. And that brings me back to Tears of the Kingdom. Like the opening of Tears of the Kingdom, which hopefully, I'm not gonna spoil that, but man, I big area. Let me just say, like, if that was supposed to be the representation of the Great Plateau, fantastic. Like you nailed it. But like there's just so many things in the game where it's like it's holding your hand, right? I'm still acting. If you guys haven't realized, I'm still acting. But yeah, but there was just some points in the game where I felt like it was hand holding me to drive the story and the progress along. Like I never felt like I was 1000% in control. Like Breath of the Wild, you definitely feel in control for the majority of the game, but for this one, I'm gonna have to come back to it. Like I'm gonna have to come back to it and feel it out. Like 'cause Breath of the Wild felt so big in the beginning, and then after a little bit of time with it, I was like, oh, okay, I know where I am, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing. But I felt lost in Tears of the Kingdom. Like I genuinely felt lost. And like the powers that you get, like the different tiers and stuff, not spoiling that. Uh super fun. The only one I'll kind of spoil is like reverse. Things will fall from the sky and you can follow it, and then you can stand on it and it'll bring you up into the sky, and then you can glide away or go to one of the sky islands. And that's like really big for your travel, especially early game, until you realize that you don't really glide all that far, and the best thing to actually do is like jetpacks and stuff like that, which is a whole can of worms you guys will figure out when you guys play it. But find that rocket capsule, I'm telling you, huge, huge. Oh, learn how to do the smack off the wall. So when you're climbing, like jump and then pull your shield out to cancel, and then with the rocket, it'll fling you up. It's awesome. We call it the what did I say? Crackle? I don't remember what we call it, but you like bounce off the wall and it looks silly. Zelda stuff, you know what I mean? You probably do know what I mean, because if you're watching this, you're probably a Zelda fan, and you're probably wondering like, what the fuck is this? My first video I ever uploaded was my Zelda review of my entire collection. It wasn't really a review. It was more, I had just purchased a bunch of collectibles and received a Japanese boxed copy of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time that was official and not a reproduction. And I thought that was super cool, right? And I was like, oh, I want to talk about this. And I had the mangas, I had my hat, and that was like the time that I found out that I really enjoy making content like this. Zelda was one of those things that loops back to the creation of my channel and my online persona, and it's been that way for 9 years. Um, and it's interesting to think that just making this video and every layer of like impossibility that I get to perform here today is unreal. It's unreal. A game that a lot of people said wasn't going to happen. Uh, a sequel to a Zelda game. Like, what? We don't have sequels in Zelda. Like, this is so bizarre. Then you have, it's a mobile game. Also kind of crazy. You ever stop to think of that? It's on an NVIDIA Tegra. That's a mobile chip. It's not out yet. It's Zelda. It's Nintendo. Like, we live in weird times. That's for sure. Anyways, that was weird. And thank you for watching. I don't really have anything else written here. I have no more dramatic cues set. One take is all it should take. That's all it says at the end. And that's because this is supposed to be like a high thought video. High thought review was kind of the idea. Let me know what you guys think. But in all reality, I did really enjoy Tears of the Kingdom, obviously. I would recommend you play it, and everything I said in this video is true, and the questions that I asked myself are true, um, to a degree. Like, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that this would be interesting, and I can do, like, a whole spin on it. Anyways, subscribe to this channel if you're interested. I have a second channel, Zephyrian Main. It's just Zephyrian. First channel, Zephyrian. IAN. Zephyr. IAN. Zephyrian. Zephyrian. Go check that out if you want, and subscribe. That's my Let's Play channel. I will have Tears of the Kingdom coming out. That was actually a factual statement, and it was actually recorded in tandem with this video, so it's not super spoilery, but it is enough information and enough story for you to get it. I cut out about 36 hours, I believe, of pretty much me just running around New Hyrule, and I didn't want to show any of it. I thought I wanted to hide the world. I wanted to just kind of focus on like the important lore bits, and that was about it, because I kind of wanted to respect this game. It made me think about a lot of things. Obviously, I'm older, and reflecting on my childhood is important. A lot of people should reflect on their childhood and find happiness in things. And I also thought like this would be like the perfect time to end my career as a content creator. I thought to myself, like, how cool would it be to start from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and then end by playing a Zelda game before it comes out and making a review for it before it comes out. And that's like your magnum opus. People will find you one day and they'll eventually link those two together and be like, oh, there's so many layers of comedy in this. And I mean, I don't want to quit YouTube. I already decided against that. Like, I'm going to continue making things. Um, man, I can ramble, but my script literally says make it 25 minutes. So I'm trying to do that script. And now that I've played Tears of the Kingdom, I'm finishing up my actual. I actually haven't beaten it yet. I didn't want to fully beat it. I got really close without doing any of the main quests. Like I've been everywhere. Like essentially, I've seen the whole entire game, and there's really nothing else for me to do. I've done every side quest that I can. Like every time I went into a town and did something. Man, there are so many people to talk to. There is so much dialogue in this game. Woo! Kind of like this video. Subscribe.